Hi there, another beautiful day here in Larchmont. So we're gonna have some Barolo today. This is about I opened a couple of nights ago for a dinner party we were having. It was primarily pizza. This is the Magnum, and you know I like Magnum because you can share it with friends. And I was inspired a little bit, I have to admit, by Hani's experience during the weekend where he was having this Nebbiolo with a lot of tomato-based food. And there's always this challenge with tomatoes because they're so acidic. But we know that Italian wines go very well with them. I mean, there's a reason for that, and it does work. But in any case, I went with a Nebbiolo grape instead of a Sangiovese because I have this Magnum that I wanted to share. This is a 2015 Oddero Barolo. It's their standard Barolo. They have several sort of, single vineyard. We know that doesn't apply, but it is in effect single vineyard in Barolo. But this is a blend from 2 or 3 vineyards that they make every year. It's a sort of the entry level, but still, it's really a very well made wine from nice vineyards, primarily southern exposures that they've owned for a while. These guys have been bottling their own Barolo and Barbaresco for a long time. I think they started in Barolo in the 1870s. They started bottling their own wines, and we know back then it was not at all the main activity of a lot of these vintners. They make Barbaresco too. They have quite a range of Langes and Barberas. And anyway, this is one of their 3 or 4 Barolos. So it's just, there's 3 vineyards are fermented and aged separately for 30 months. Then they're blended, they're bottled, and then kept for 6 months before they're released. So we're talking 36 months. We're now buying like the 2017 Barolos, I think. So this really goes on for quite a while. Ideally, I would have kept this a lot longer, but it's one of their more approachable wines, and I needed to open a nice Barolo Magnum, so we went with this. Opened it a few hours ahead of time, but I think in retrospect we'll see if that was long enough. Anyway, the color is really typical sort of Barolo, Barbaresco, that Nebbiolo light, really light, sort of red brown-ish color. And it's not about age really, because this is pretty young. So it's light, it's clear, it's sort of a fine, subtle color. On the nose, it's just a lot of cherry, which is what you'd expect with in a Barolo. There was olives as when I first opened it. The acidity is there, and you have a little bit of that cooked fruit, which you often find also in Barolos. This is a little bit more expressive, and it's a little more sort of classic from a strength point of view than some of the Barbarescos I've had recently. But it's there. It's there. I mean, it's 14% alcohol. It's the fruit. It's the alcohol. And 2015 was a very deep, very strong year from a sun and alcohol point of view. A little bit of some fine tannins on the end, which is really nice to have. Acidity, as I said before, it sort of kind of counterbalances, the tomatoes. It doesn't really add to it. It's kind of a funny combination. It did work really well, I have to say. That's why there's very little left in the bottle. A little bit of licorice, as we said. Some of that sort of bittersweet chocolate. Again, this is a Barolo that has a little bit more bitterness to it, and I like that. It's more restrained. It's just more old-fashioned, sort of the real, a little bit heavy-duty, not focused on sort of lightness, and it would have really evolved, I think, quite a bit more over the next 10 years. I have some more bottles, not Magnums, and those I think I'm gonna wait on. Let's just take another sip. Really, cherry, acidity, licorice, very very light tannins on the finish. It's there. There's definitely a finish, but it's very, very subtle, and it's sort of the kind of wine that you drink with your meal. Really, just you want more of it without necessarily overthinking it, and that's kind of what I was hoping for, and that's what we got. So very recommended, very highly recommended for an entry level Barolo, and that's easier sometimes to get in a Magnum because it's not as expensive and you can enjoy it with friends. Cheers, and see you soon.